just can't hold it in. I think we started something, I hope it never ends. I hope it never ends. Don't tell me that the good old days are over. We're two hearts running wild. On and on, we'll move a little closer. We don't have to burn out.
We have recently started doing a fodder system. This is something we've done in years past, but we really pick it up during the winter. And let's be fair, I got behind this year, guys. I dropped the ball on the fodder system, so we are just getting started on it now that we got our new shelf in, and I'm pretty excited about it. Right behind me here, you can see we've got these stackable bins. These have all of our grains in them. We mix our own feed for the chickens, for the pigs, not for the goats yet. But you can see we've got oats and barley and wheat, and then this big bag right here is Boss or black oil sunflower seeds. So I am going to use barley for our fodder system for the time being. The reason for this is because we've found that barley is the easiest to sprout, it's the easiest to grow, and it is the least likely to mold. We live in a humid place, so in the warm months especially, when it's humid and it's hot, things can mold really quickly, and we can't feed anything moldy to our animals. Never, ever, ever feed moldy feed to your animal. I've lost my scoop. I had a scoop in my hand and I lost it. I don't know where it went. I don't know what I did with it. It's already in the barley container. For the barley fodder, one of the things that's really important that you do is you have to soak the barley prior to sprouting it. You can't just dump a bunch of barley in a tray and call it good and hope that it sprouts. Obviously things need water, but because this is a whole grain, it's been dried for processing for animal feed. It needs just a little extra help. So I put in 2 of these scoops, and I do big full heaping scoops. And then we're going to take this and cover it with at least an inch of water, and that makes sure everything's soaking. If you don't let the feed get fully covered in water, that's why I say at least an inch of water, it's gonna start to mold on the top, and that ruins your whole thing. Put the water in here. We're gonna let it soak for 24 to 48 hours. You don't wanna let it soak too long, because if you let it ferment too long, it's not going to sprout. If this happens to you, if you lose track of it and you let it ferment for a few days, don't stress about it. Just feed it straight to your animals that way. It still increases the protein content, increases the nutrient content. It'll be better for your animals once it's fermented. In fact, we ferment all of our feed for our birds and our pigs, unless it's like kitchen scraps, but all the whole grains get fermented for our animals. Soak it for 24 to 48 hours. We'll dump it in a tray, get it under some lights, and we'll see how it grows. Got the big shelf built. As you can see, we've got all our pods prepped. This is our first year trying these pods. They're organic peat pods. They expanded. They got decent sized. I think they could probably go a little bigger if I added more water to them, but I'm not really gonna worry about that too much right now. We're gonna talk about seed starting. This year we're really focused on varieties that grow the best for us in our climate. You may find that different brands work better for your climate zone. So don't take everything that we use as an exact translation of what's going to work for you. We personally have found that Territorial Seeds is the brand that works best for us. I really like Territorial because I've researched their product. I know for a fact that none of their seeds have come from Monsanto, which is really important to me, but may not be quite as important to you. We really like Territorial around here. It's because Territorial's semi-local to us. They're just one state over. They're in the Cascades, which means their seeds are produced in a climate that is very, very similar to ours. We live in kind of a strange microclimate where we're at. We live on the top of a hill by the water, so our climate can tend to be a bit colder than even just a mile down the road from us. So it's very important that we get something that is adapted to our crazy weather changes that we get here. Territorial is great for that. We've tried other seed companies such as Johnny's, we've tried Baker Creek, and I still use Baker Creek. I'm actually using some of their seeds today so that we can kind of test and see what's going to work best for us. Specifically, we're going to be starting this one today. It is called the Amish Deer Tongue lettuce. Now, I grow a deer tongue lettuce from Territorial as well. I've actually got one of the starts right behind me here. So this is one of our deer tongue starts from Territorial. You can see it looks really nice. It's producing really well. This seed was planted mid-January, so it's not that old, about 6 weeks, I'd say, and it was just transplanted up day before yesterday. So it's doing really well, but my concern with these ones is that out of 12 cells that I had these seeds in, I got three starts that actually sprouted. I didn't get any other sprouts off those guys, and I'm pretty disappointed because last year it grew so well for us. So I'm really gonna try this Baker Creek and see if it works any better. So I'm gonna go over all of the seeds that we're gonna be planting in here today. We've got a Territorial onion, and it is called the Cortland F1. I haven't personally tried this one yet. It says it's 110 days to harvest an improved yellow storage onion. That's a big thing for us. We store a lot. We try and keep enough food to last us throughout the entire non-growing season. So we need enough onions for a year, and we need them to last a year in storage. I'm really excited to try this one. This is one we grew last year. It's called Gondar lettuce. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Another one from Territorial. This one is an iceberg head lettuce, and it grew such beautiful heads. We got heads about this big last year from that, and they produced really quickly. I've never grown head lettuce before then, so I'm excited to do that one again. Of course, we're gonna plant another row of the Umpqua broccoli because it's doing so well. I wanted, we probably want 30 or 40 broccoli plants for us to keep up for the year. We're gonna do some cilantro. Some people don't like cilantro. Some people think it tastes like soap. I love it, guys. It's one of my favorite herbs. I put it on everything I possibly can. I eat it a lot. It's a little sad. Doing the deer tongue. We're also gonna do another couple rows of the kohlrabi, just because it's fun to grow. And then we're gonna do a row of Genovese basil. This one is from Seeds of Change. I haven't gotten an organic basil seed from Territorial yet, though I do fully intend on doing that. We're gonna see if the Seeds of Change one grows well for us this year. I found it in a local nursery. One of the things I really want to stress to you guys is the importance of researching where your seeds are coming from. Now, as I mentioned before, we like to figure out what companies our seeds are coming from, what companies are producing our seeds, how our seeds are being produced, because the whole reason we started this journey, as we mentioned in our first video, was because we were concerned about our health and wellness. And so one of the things that is required if you are concerned about things like that is research. We selected Territorial because they're local. They're very open about their policies, who they purchase from, everything like that. I can find all of it online. And they have many organic options, which is also important to me. Oop, dropped an onion seed there. Now, Territorial also works best in our climate, but that doesn't necessarily mean that some other brand isn't going to work better for you. So Seeds of Change seeds or Baker Creek seeds or Johnny seeds or really any of those other companies could be the seed that works best for you. It could be what is more in line with what you're wanting out of your garden. If you're going to grow your own food, chances are good you probably want to be more aware of what's going into your body. So I'm just dropping one seed into each one of these little pods. I try and do one seed. I hate thinning seeds, guys. I really hate it. It frustrates me because I feel like I'm wasting. And that's kind of the point of this whole thing, isn't it? To decrease the amount of waste I'm putting out. I'm sure you guys can hear my latest week moment right behind me. We will talk about those in a different video. We'll get real in depth on that. You know, I blame Tractor Supply. So, yeah, you can hear it. You know what's going on. You know how the chicken math works. All right, everything is in this tray. I'm going to use the end of my pen. I'm gonna move the dirt around so that it's covering the seed and the seed isn't just totally exposed to the light. We want to make sure it's about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch down inside the pod. One of the things I really am enjoying about these pods so far is one, they're drastically cleaner than doing the cells. I'm not scooping dirt. I'm not getting dirt everywhere. There's not potting soil all over my floor right now. Another thing I'm really enjoying about them is that since you have to soak them in water to get them to expand in the first place, they're already damp. This pen is completely ruined, by the way. There's no way it's coming out of this. Some of these seeds, especially the cilantro, the coriander, it's a much bigger seed, so I am having to poke it down into the pod a little bit. They have these nice little holes already in them. So I just give it a little push, a little deeper down into the soil. And it's good. All my seeds are planted. Everything's covered up. It looks great. You can see that I don't have any plant markers in here. I do that because I don't like waste, guys. Most of the plant markers that I've found are plastic or they're tongue depressors, like little popsicle sticks or the bigger popsicle stick tongue depressor things. The problem with those is we live in Washington. The writing on them fades out really quickly. So I write my list on a little note card and it tells me which row I have everything in. I know which rows are 1 through 12. There's 12 rows in this tray. I also keep a farm journal, which I highly recommend. It's really important to keep a farm journal. It not only helps you keep track of what you're doing throughout the year and keep things organized, it also lets you know how far ahead or behind or on track you are the next year. In previous years, I didn't even start my tomatoes until May. I've already got tomatoes transplanted into 4x4x4 pots. I didn't even have starts this time of year last year. Keep a farm journal. It helps you know what worked, what didn't, helps you remember everything. I'm gonna get these on the shelf. I like to put my starts, my seedlings, whatever you want to call them, under the lights immediately, even before they're started. The reason for this is because I'm really bad at keeping track of when things are sprouting. If you let something sprout and it's not under lights right away, you're gonna get ones that get stems that are about this long and leaves that are about this big and they just fall over. And that's called leggy starts. We don't want leggy plants. They're not strong enough. They don't do well in the wind. They don't do well in the weather. And eventually they're just gonna get too top heavy. They're gonna break off and they're gonna die. If they sprout while they are under the lights, their stems only get, 1/2 inch to 1 inch long before they start getting their first set of leaves, and then by the time they get their first set of true leaves, they're barely over 2 inches tall. And that's important. That gives you strong stems. Some people like to put a fan on their starts right after they sprout. That will help them build a stronger stem. I personally like to wait a little bit before I put a fan on my starts. I generally put a fan on my seedlings probably a month or so before I'm going to plant them outside. That way it prepares them for the falling rain and the wind that we get up here and all that kind of stuff. But I'm done for tonight. I'm gonna have the rest of my drink and I'm gonna go to bed. So I will see you guys on a different day. Good night.
On and on, we'll move a little closer. We don't have to burn out in the fire. No, we don't have to burn out in the fire. I wanna know, what are you waiting for? I wanna know just what you're